Watchmen is the film adaptation of the graphic novel of the same name. It stars Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Jackie Earle Haley, Patrick Wilson, Billy Crudup, Malin Ackerman, Matthew Good, and Carla Gugino. It's directed by Zack Snyder, who beforehand directed 300 and now is best known for Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and the Justice League movie coming out soon. The movie does follow the plot of the graphic novel of the same name, and if you want to see my review on that, you can click on the link below. This movie was in development hell since the late 1980s and bounced around from studio to studio. Some of the directors that showed interest were Terry Gilliam, Tim Burton, and Michael Bay, but they eventually settled on Zack Snyder to direct. When this movie came out, both audiences and critics were mixed about it, and that's why this movie wasn't financially successful. Now what makes this movie special to me is that this was actually the first R-rated movie I saw in theaters. I did see a few R-rated movies at home, but it was a completely different experience seeing an R-rated movie in public. Another thing that was interesting for me was that I never read the graphic novel when I saw this movie, so I saw this with an open mind and didn't know what to expect. Although I did get around to reading the graphic novel, I really enjoyed this movie immensely. One of the best things about this movie is how stylized it is. All the slow motion shots are very well done, and sadly has not really been used in Zack Snyder movies in recent films. The best usage of this is when we see the death of the comedian in the first scene of the movie. I love that all the sound effect hits are very realistic and intense. I also like that his apartment number is 300, a reference to Zack Snyder's last film. Shortly after, we're treated to an amazing opening scene that shows us the history and exposition. I really liked its spin on history for its timeline, and didn't pull any punches showing the JFK assassination. Another thing I really liked about this movie was the casting. I love how they didn't use any A-list actors and got ones that looked a lot like the characters they were playing. When it came to acting, some of them were good, and some of them not so good. The one person that easily stole the show was Jackie Earle Haley as Rorschach. Some people said that he was copying Christian Bale's Batman with his growly voice, but it did sound rough, and what I'd imagine Rorschach would sound like.
And all the whores and politicians will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."
The makeup was also really good to show some of the characters aging, but no amount of old lady makeup can make Carla Gugino not attractive. The movie did an excellent job of recreating scenes from the graphic novel, but there were a few changes that I thought were better in this movie than they were in the graphic novel. The main one was this scene when Dr. Manhattan finds out that his ex-wife has cancer. In the graphic novel, she wasn't there, but her being there to make a scene made more sense why Dr. Manhattan would get more emotionally stirred. What I'm about to say is kind of a spoiler, so fast forward to this part if you haven't read the graphic novel or seen the movie yet. In all honesty, I felt like the giant squid thing was stupid. I mean, what makes more sense to frame Dr. Manhattan with? A giant alien squid or a giant blue explosion? The one problem I have with this movie is that some of the CGI is sort of either dated or it does look a bit cartoonish from time to time. Watchmen is honestly one of the most underrated movies I've ever seen in my life and is my favorite movie by Zack Snyder. I give the film adaptation of Watchmen 3.5 stars out of 4. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe.